Welcome to Barbie's bitch house. I don't know what that was. Last time we found out that Obadiah was working for the fraternity guys and he got his fucking his head blown off.
So you know what I'm thinking?
What?
Was he even a fag?
He totally was a fag. Says me, the fag. The faggiest fag of all the fags. So this is called Sink or Swim.
Chapter 22. Jackson gasped as the water went over his face. It was so cold. He couldn't look over at Daniel, trying to avoid looking at Obadiah's dead body. He was also disgusted that Obadiah was a traitor. Sorry. I was going to say, traitor!
You betrayed me. I know it's
the entire time he had killed Bradley, an innocent man. He was no better than Danny, but he was at the same time. At least Obadiah had helped Jackson. That's what ran through his mind as he tried to move closer to Danny. Move closer to Danny? I think it's supposed to be Daniel.
This is pissing me off. This is why you don't name two characters very similar things.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Danny can be a nickname for Daniel. So
yeah,
it's like,
but it gets very confusing.
The water continued to rain down, making it hard to breathe due to the freezing temperature of the water. Jackson looked around. Hopefully the pool would take a while to fill up. He yanked at the ropes, desperately trying to break free to no prevail. The others did the same. What are we going to do? Jackson screamed over the roaring sound of the water crashing into the pool bottom. We may need to dislocate our wrists in order to get out of the weights, and then we can just use the ladder to climb out of this pool.
How the fuck are you going to climb up it and grasp the railings with dislocated wrists? Let's lock it in, Jackson.
Let's lock it in.
Let's use our thinking caps.
Danny put the tea kettle on the stove, lit the gas stove. The flames licked the bottom of the charred
God
kettle.
damn it.
Heating up the water inside. Everything was going according to plan, except the fact that Jackson had discovered the bodies in that room. Luckily, Danny had a plan in mind. Trip and Trey sat inside with Danny while Chaz and Chet watched the pledges try to get out of the pool. Danny let the kettle stay on the stove until it was boiling. It was time to torture them even more. He took the kettle off the stove and turned the stove dial to just the gas before heading outside. I like how we had that whole really descriptive thing about him using gas.
The gas.
The water was up to their waist, and now Daniel screamed as he pulled with the ropes, trying to free himself so he could help the others untie their rope. He was so distracted that when the boiling water was poured over him, he didn't even realize what happened until the scalding hot agony fell over him. He screamed. Danny poured boiling water on all of them. "Fuck you!" Jackson screamed at the top of his lungs. "Fuck all of you!" Jackson yanked away at the ropes with all of his might. A sickening snap resounded through the pool. Jackson screamed in pain as he pulled his fractured wrist out of the rope. He used the fractured hand to help untie his tied hand. Jackson quickly hurried over to Daniel and began to untie his ropes. The water was halfway up their chest now. Gus was still screaming due to the burns on his face from the boiling water. It took some effort, but Jackson finally freed Daniel, and Daniel began to try and untie Gus, and Jackson went to untie Marco. Marco pushed him away. "What the hell are you doing?" Jackson asked. "Jackson, they're going to torture us all until we are dead," Marco said. "I won't give them that satisfaction." Marco smiled at Jackson and said, "Best luck of you," before dunking underwater and inhaling the water.
Here we go with the 5,000 ways of drowning.
"No," Jackson screamed, but before Jackson could try to run and help Marco, Daniel grabbed him and began leading him to the ladder alongside Gus. "Marco!" Jackson screamed. Marco struggled under the water, his body shaking. "We all have to go or we all die." Daniel yelled at Jackson. "Leave Marco. He wants to die, and I don't blame him. At least let him die on his own terms," Gus said. Danny caught sight of what was happening and dove into the water to try and stop Marco from drowning, but it was too late. Marco died the second Danny hit the water. Danny turned over Marco and looked at him. He died with a smile on his face. It was like a "fuck you" to Danny.
Marco's a baddie for that.
Danny screamed in rage and threw Marco's body across the pool. Why is he mad? Is he mad because he didn't want him to die?
He's mad because he wanted Marco to die on, like, Danny's terms. Like, Marco kind of took that away from Danny by killing himself. He wanted to torture them more, but he just like, "Nope, fuck you."
Sorry. When Jackson and Daniel and Gus got out of the pool, they tried to bolt out of the backyard. But before they could, Chet and Chaz and Trip tackled them like football players.
Gross.
Jackson screamed as he landed on his fractured wrist.
Fuck.
He saw a piece of broken glass on the ground. This was his chance. He yelped as Chaz stepped on his broken hand, laughing in agony. Luckily, Chaz wasn't paying attention to Jackson's other hand. Jackson whispered something crazy that wasn't audible to Chaz. Huh? Chaz bellowed, "Speak up." Jackson mumbled again, and so Chaz lowered his head closer to Jackson to hear what he was saying. Jackson grabbed the glass shard and stabbed upwards. Chaz screamed in agony and fell backwards. Jackson looked up and saw the piece of glass wedged in Chaz's eye. Jackson tried to run, but Danny saw the scene unfold and grabbed Jackson. A look of rage filled his face. Danny grabbed a knife from within his pocket and stabbed Jackson in the stomach with it. "Motherfucker!" Danny spat in Jackson's face as he twisted the knife into his gut. Danny ripped the knife out and carried Jackson to the house. Chet and Trip followed behind them, carrying Gus and Daniel. Trey stood beside Chaz, who was bleeding profusely from his eye. Danny threw Jackson to the floor, cursing and spitting at him. Once Daniel and Gus were thrown back into the house, Jackson stumbled to the bathroom to look at the full extent of his injuries. Daniel followed while Gus stayed on the floor, wheezing.
He's like, "That was funny."
Jackson flung open the bathroom door, and once Daniel was inside, shut it and locked it so that Danny couldn't barge in. Who knew what they had planned next? Jackson looked in the mirror and wanted to cry. His skin was red and partially falling off from the boiling water. Blood was dripping from his stomach, and his wrist was twisted at an odd angle. Jackson collapsed on the floor. Daniel grabbed Jackson and held him in his arms, tears streaming down his face. "Just hang in there, baby," Daniel said. The tears dripped onto Jackson's cheek and ran down his face.
Ran down his ass. I think we're almost at the end of the first part of the book. There's two
Sorry.
That was disgusting, and you need to die for it. That's the frat bros to these guys. Like, "You're disgusting, and you need to die for it."
Look at that fat ass squirrel. I know I always say that, but
look at that fat ass squirrel. I love saying it. It's fun.
Squirrel.
Everything burns.
Chapter 23 is called Everything Burns, including my coochie.
Including Danny's coochie.
Everything hurts. Danny smirked as he lit the match that he would throw through the open window to light the gas that had been wafting through the house for the last 20 minutes.
That sounds like somebody farted. I'm just imagining Danny's like... He's like... And Chaz is like, "God damn."
Well, I mean, Chaz isn't saying that because he's probably not there or whatever. But Trip grabbed Chaz and held an ice pack up to his bleeding eye. "Okay, ready?" Danny asked. Trip, Trey, and Chaz, Chet and Chaz nodded. "Burn the fucker down!" Chaz growled. Danny flicked the lit match through the cracked window, and the moment it got into contact with the gaseous air inside the house, everything went up in a burst of glorious flame. Pieces of broken glass shot from the windows and flew directly into Danny's face, but he couldn't feel a damn thing. He began to laugh hysterically. "It's glorious!" Danny screamed. "Oh, so glorious!" Danny danced and looked up at the sky with his hands raised and spinning around while the blood dripped down his face. He's like...
Oh, he's fucking crazy.
He spread his pussy for the...
He's like, "Oh." He's like, "It's so glorious, it's burning."
I'm imagining him throwing ass. like
he like rips ass and then it causes him to blow up.
His asshole catches on fire and then he's
like, "Glory!" Ah!
The explosion was sudden. Oh shit, was it? It was loud and roared through the house. I'm
just imagining this as a fart. It makes it so unserious. It roared through the house. It roared from Danny's erection.
I saw this thing once that reminds me of where it was like someone like a guy farts in prison and it's like someone's like sounds like my size.
I've seen that meme. My mom sent me a meme the other day where somebody said something. They're like, "Is it bad if I take a big log shit at work?" And then someone said, "No, go shit in the field with the rest of the buffalo." Like he takes big buffalo shit.
Yeah. There's a story, like, when I was a kid. My mom worked with someone who had, like, really bad IBS. But so she brought me to work with her one day. And so that lady had just been in that bathroom. And so she opened the door. And I go, "It stinks!" And my mom's coworker started fucking dying. And then I'm like, "Ew!" My mom's like, "Get the fuck in there!"
She, like, shoved you in there like it was a gas chamber.
Yeah.
Like it was the fucking Shoki from Matilda.
I was like 2. I was like,
she's like, "You're gonna get in there and you're gonna smell it more."
I was like, "Ew." She's like, "Get the fuck in there!" Because it was like a giant hallway full of offices. And she's like, "Get your fucking ass in there." Because I had to pee, and I was like, "Ew."
It stinks, Mom. Speaking of shit we say as kids that we shouldn't have said ever. One time I was getting to a car, my mom was helping me get into the car, and this homeless woman walked by, and I said, "Look, Mommy, it's a witch." And she, like, ushered me in that car and said, "You get in that car now." It wasn't a witch.
She's like
I really thought it was a witch. I was 4.
Yeah, I was like 2 or something, but I was like, "Ew." And then my mom was like, she's like, "Get the fuck in."
She's like, "You're gonna smell."
Yeah, she literally, like, shoved me in there. She was like, "Get in there."
And you're like, "Mommy, it stinks like okra in here."
Sorry.
So the fire rumbled.
All that Jackson and Daniel heard was a loud explosion before a wave of overwhelming heat washed over them.
Imagining the fart still.
The shockwave knocked the door right off its...
It's even worse because they're in the bathroom. This is me when I'm in the school bathroom and the janitor walks in. She's like, "Whew, what is that blast of heat?"
She was probably like, "I just fucking cleaned that toilet."
And I was just blowing bits up in there.
That was the day we had a bunch of spicy chicken.
It was one of those shits where there was, like, specks on the side of the toilet.
Oh, God.
Like, I was a Picasso. My ass was the Picasso and the toilet was the paint canvas.
The canvas. Sending the door right into Daniel. He was knocked over into the marble bathroom counter. Why is that?
In the marble bathroom counter in this piece of shit house.
Cracking his skull and killing him on impact.
That's a lame ass way to die.
Jackson screamed in pain and physical and emotional. As Daniel landed right on top of Jackson, he couldn't move. "Everything burns," Jackson managed to mumble. He felt his skin blister and boil, and he felt himself slowly fade into the darkness away from this burning world. "Everything burns" were Jackson's final words before finally succumbing to the darkness.
And that is the end of part 1 of the book. So
they don't live, basically. None of them
Not
did.
necessarily. So the only one who survives is Jackson, but barely. Like, someone manages to find him in time because of the smoke, I think.
Well, I was trying to hold it so you could figure out where to put the bookmark.
Yeah. We'll just put it at, like, part 2 right here. So part 2 is Jackson getting revenge on the frat bros for what they did.
And
So-
Daniel's dead.
Daniel's dead, yeah.
At least we won't have another fucking thing where it's like Danny or Daniel, because it's like they're almost
I know.
like...
And, like, I remember, I think Daniel was supposed to be the main character, and the last minute I changed it to Jackson, getting revenge for Daniel. So that is all for today's episode, guys. Bye!
Bye!